Welcome to another video on SRID Cloud. In this video, we will talk about how to set up OpenShift on a bunch of computers, whether they are bare metal physical systems or virtual machines will not matter. There is an edition of OpenShift called OKD, the OpenShift Community Distribution. That is what we are going to set up on our network. So to install OpenShift on a cluster of computers, I have set up a network which I will show you now. So here it is. I set up a system called Bootstrap. It is fitted with Core OS operating system, and its IP address is also listed there. And then I have a master node, only one, and also fitted with Core OS operating system, and its IP address is out there. And then I have two worker nodes also installed with Core OS. Their IP addresses are also out there. And then I have a services system which will be used for setting up DNS server, kind of a load balancer, a web server to keep the files required for installing OpenShift. And then we will also set up a network file server on this. This system is fitted with the CentOS operating system. So all these systems are under a private network, and it is 192.168.40 network. But my public network is different. It is 192.168.182 network. So to make this cluster available on the public network, I have a router system also in place, and that router is a Core OS, CentOS machine. It has two network interfaces in it, one on the private network and one on the public network. Their IP addresses are also listed at the bottom. And this system will not only function as a router but also a DHCP server for the entire network of all other machines. So whatever IP addresses you are seeing for all these machines, including services and worker nodes and master nodes and Bootstrap, they were all served by the DHCP server on the same network, 192.168.40 network. So now let's get started with installing OpenShift on this environment. So before that, I will be setting up a DNS server and whatever that's needed on the services system, and then keep it ready for OpenShift installation. And one more tiny piece of information. The router system is the only one that is available on the public network. So I will be able to access from outside to the router system, and then from there I can access any internal systems. So I have configured the router system in such a way that the port 22 on it is redirected to the port 22 on the services system. So what does it mean? When I SSH into the router system using the external IP address 192.168.182.50, I will be automatically taken into the services system, which is 192.168.40.107. So now let's get started. Now let us set up a DNS server on the OKD services system. And on this system, we are going to be not only installing DNS, but also quite a few other things. Let's start it. The first thing, we are going to install DNS. So let's do it. And this is how you do it. So I'm logged in as root. Yum install bind and bind utils. So this is going to take a while to install DNS. Okay, DNS got installed. So now we're going to replace some of the files in the system. The first file we're going to replace is the named.conf file under etc directory. So here is how the named.conf file is going to look like. Here is my network, the 192.168.40 and 107, 40.107 is the server on which we are doing this. This is the services system. And in OpenShift terminology, this system is also called Bashan server, Bashan. And allow query or entry is also set to the network 192.168.40.0. And that is pretty much everything in this file. So let's copy this over name.conf to etc name.conf. There is already a file existing there, and I'm going to rename it. And then the second file I want to change is the etc named dot under etc named name.conf.local file. So that is going to look like this. I simply mention the zone file reference here. We're going to copy this file as well later on under etc named zones directory. That will refer to the 192.168.40 network. So let me copy named.conf.local to etc named directory. Okay, let's go to the directory and then take a look at this. So this is the file we just copied, and under named directory we copied this file named.conf.local. Okay, so now this next step is, let us go to etc named again. We need to create a file called zones, a directory called zones. And here it is. So here I'm going to copy a couple of files. First of all, db.okd.local. So this file contains a reference to all the systems in my network, including services and one bootstrap node and one master node and a couple of worker nodes. So they are all referenced here, and there is an internal OpenShift cluster IPs and their host names. Notice that the API int, and .apps, they're all pointing to the services system, and then the 104 is the master node that's connected to the HCD, and so on. And then I'm also going to copy another file, db.192.168.40, a specific network. So same thing here. 107 is the last part of the IP address of the OKD4 services, and 103, 4, 5, 6, and 7 are the IP addresses, the last part of the IP addresses of the bootstrap and master and worker nodes and API nodes. I'm going to copy these over db.star here. So under zones directory, all these files got copied. So now before I proceed, I need to stop and start and also enable the DNS service. So systemctl enable named. I'll say enable now, so that if the system is restarted, the DNS service will automatically start. So now I need to start the systemctl start named service. So it started. Now let's look at the status of this service. So it's active and up and running. So now how do I verify? So before I verify, I need to include some port number, the DNS port number 53 UDP in the firewall. So I do this with firewall CMD permanent and add port 53 UDP. I think I made a mistake here. Typo mistake. Okay, done. So now I need to reload the firewall on the system. Reload. There we go. So now let's verify if the DNS services are all properly set up by pinging some of the systems in with the hostname. So to verify the DNS server, let us restart the networking services because we made changes. So systemctl restart network.service. Wait for it to complete. It's done. So now let us see if I use the dig command to verify. OKD.local. Yeah, there it is. The verification is successful. It is able to get the authority section with whatever we want. And now let us do a dig -x with 192.168.40.107, and we got everything we set up. This answer section has got 3 host names associated with this IP address, and also the authority section. We are able to resolve OKD4 services okd.local as a host name against the 192.168.40 IP address, and here is what I'm talking about. The 107 is associated with OKD4 services. So the DNS is up and running now. Now the next step is to install the HA proxy. So to do that, all you need to do is yum install HA proxy. Seem to be making a lot of typo mistakes. So let's wait for it to complete. So it got completed successfully. So now we need to modify a file called haproxy.cfg, which is supposed to be under etc haproxy directory. Let's do that. Let's take a look at this file before we copy it over. So here is the haproxy file, and importantly, it has proper entries for the server, the API backend, the bootstrap and master one, and then the front end, and also the backend server. Same thing again, and then the worker nodes for the ingress traffic to be handled at a high level. So this is it. So let's copy this file over to the haproxy directory. So I'm going to copy this cp haproxy.cfg to etc haproxy cfg. It's already a file out there, and we are overwriting it. Okay, so now let's enable the HA proxy connect. So how you do it is set SC bool minus p HA proxy connect any to 1. So this is SC Linux value. Just wait for it to complete it. So now we need to enable the HA proxy service so that when you restart the system, it gets started automatically. Systemctl enable HA proxy, and let us start the HA proxy now. Systemctl start HA proxy, and then look at the status. So it's active and up and running. With HA proxy installed and configured, now let's configure the firewall with the appropriate ports. So firewall cmd permanent add port 6443 TCP. This is the port number. You must have noticed it in the HA proxy configuration file. And similarly, the other port 22623. This is also TCP port. And now let's also open up the HTTP and HTTPS ports through firewall. You don't have to mention the number here because the HTTP tag will do the same. Oh, it's add service HTTP and HTTPS, and then let's reload the firewall. Okay, done. So now our next step is to install the web server. So that's going to be somewhat simple. So yum install httpd. So the Apache httpd will be installed. So let's wait for it to be completed. And when it is done, we are going to change the HTTP port number from 80 to 8080. It's up and running now. Let's go and change the etc httpd conf httpd.conf. So let's search for listen. So instead of 80, let us make it as 8080. And then we're going to do some SC Linux operations. So set SC bool minus p httpd read user content to 1. And now we need to enable the HTTPD service. So systemctl enable HTTPD, and then let us start HTTPD service. Okay, it started. So now we need to add the port 8080 to the firewall. So let's do that. Firewall cmd permanent add port 8080 TCP. Okay, now done, and let's reload firewall. Okay, done. So now let's see if the web server is working. Let me do curl localhost 8080, and it is working. So we just got the response from the web server. So that takes care of setting up the web server. So before we proceed further, let us quickly talk about the next step, that is the OpenShift installer and OpenShift client. Let us proceed to that. And let us proceed to the next step in a separate video, because this video is already 20 minutes longer. So this will be part 1 of the OpenShift setup on your environment. In the part 2, let us finish the installation entirely. Hope you enjoyed this video, and look forward to the second video very soon. And I'll talk to you all in another video. Have a wonderful day. Bye for now.